Soundstripe.
Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Devahntau Colonel, here with you for another day of the 30 days of streaming in a row. That's right, folks. Not a single day missed. We are hitting that thing. Let's go. Wait. Let's go. So on today's episode, we are going to be talking about something that is it's something that's been in the zeitgeist of people and of men, but only more recently has there been this acknowledgement and this putting a name to it in a way that is intentional and that is proactive. Today, we are going to be covering Looksmaxxing. Looksmaxxing is the process wherein a person takes on the task of intentionally taking care of and doing the things necessary to maximize their physical appearance and attractiveness. Now, in order to cover these topics, I thought to myself, I can't cover this topic because I'm out of shape right now. I can't cover this topic because my beard is crazy right now. I don't have time for a haircut. But who do I know who takes care of these things on a regular basis? Who do I know that's on their grind right now, doing their thing as young men, getting after it? And it dawned on me. I know two men that fit perfectly. Enter Brody Vinson and Zach Ross. Neither of these gentlemen, a stranger to the show. We've had them on within the past couple of months here. And so I'm excited to get into it because both of them are exquisite communicators. Both of them have a plethora of life experiences, and they're ready to get into it. So without further ado, let me go ahead and let the gentlemen reintroduce themselves, say what they've been doing a little bit, and then afterwards, I want to get into you guys' glow up story, Looksmaxxing stories. Brody, tell the people what's been going on.
Well, again, thank you so much for having me on again. I really enjoy doing your show. I think you're an exquisite communicator as well, and the way you tee up anyone you have on your show and kind of like give them a platform to share their stories and what they talk about. I think you do a really great job of it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
since I was last on, I've been just continuing to build my consulting practice. I was sharing with you guys before, I'm kind of taking it in a little bit of a new direction, trying to level it up a little bit and just listen to the customer feedback I've been getting. You know, I think that's a really valuable thing to do for any business owner is to listen to the feedback that you get, both positive, but also especially negative, when things aren't received how you expected or something like that. Yeah. So I've been expanding my consulting practice to where I'm consulting for equity in companies rather than just a retainer fee, because I feel like it aligns incentives better.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And this man's brilliance, the way that he can hear about an issue and then start to work on solutions just within a matter of 2 to 3 minutes afterwards of hearing it is amazing. He proposed some solutions to issues I've had with the podcast, and I'm like, I need to take action on that. But y'all know I be going slow. It took me 3 weeks to get this desk built. I've had it for 3 weeks now. It took me a month to set up my treadmill out there.
You say you're going slow, but I was on like a month ago and you have a whole new studio set up. You're not going slow at all. You're moving fast.
Hey, appreciate that, man. Zach, go ahead, hit the people with what's been going on.
All right. So thank you for having me on again. I'm really excited. I've always, I really want to hop on more podcasts. Since the last time I was here, a lot has happened in my life. I actually got laid off from my 9 to 5. I was working as a software engineer, full time, and it was, I was not happy with it. I was sitting in a cubicle, couldn't work remote, which is weird because I feel like as a programmer and a tech person, you should be able to. So long story short, the minute I got laid off, I went full in on the whole entrepreneurial journey, learning how to do better marketing. I have my own marketing agency where I go to other businesses and help them do email marketing, web design, and run paid ads. And I have other friends in the industry who are teaching me how to do it better, get guidance from that. And I still have my clothing brand businesses. I have Shorties and I have Z Apparel, which is the wholesale company that I make clothes for other brands and companies. So that's a long story short. I actually just came back from Barcelona last night. Flew 24 hours. Long story, but so we're here. We're here, ready to go.
You said
fresh off the sea.
Flew 24 hours.
Basically, yeah. I woke up in the morning and our flight got canceled, so we had to reschedule that. We were supposed to fly into Jersey, but then they rebooked us to DC. So we spent 9-10 hours doing that. And then we had a 2-hour layover, and then we were supposed to go to Orlando, but there was a huge storm last night. So it took us 5 hours just to get from DC to Orlando, which was supposed to take 2. And then they rerouted us to Tampa because we ran out of fuel.
Man.
And so it took us another 2 hours to get back, and then an hour to get an Uber, and then I had to drive my friend home. So I didn't get home till 1 a.m. last night.
I should have just threw a hailstorm at y'all too.
Yeah.
But he's still showing up energetic and ready
to
drop some knowledge.
I'm ready. I love this stuff.
Hey, one time for Zach, man. Fighting through it. So, fellas, let's go ahead and jump into it. Tell the folks about your adventure with self-perception, feedback you got, and then when you started on your journey towards Looksmaxxing.
You want me to start?
Sure.
So I really started my journey with this, I would say, as a kid, I grew up really self-conscious. I was never really happy with my body image, and that affected my confidence a whole lot. I was not confident. I was, people that know me now are surprised to hear this usually, but I was very introverted. I didn't talk much. I was known for being very, very quiet, and it was really just because I wasn't confident in myself at all. Now people can't get me to shut up a lot of times, but I was very unconfident, and a lot of that stemmed from body image issues. I wasn't happy with the way I presented myself, and I didn't know what to do about it. And so that was most of my growing up, and it affected a lot, honestly. And then one day, I was like towards the end of high school, I had this kind of first moment where I was just like, something needs to change. And for me, the first one was I just need to do some kind of fitness. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I had never lifted weights before, except for like maybe a couple times just trying some things. And just doing like sports growing up a little bit. But I decided to try to get in the gym and do a little bit of fitness, kind of work on things, but I didn't really know how. Until I got to college, then I just started trying to seek out people who knew how to work out and how to lift weights, how to do fitness right. And so I really made a point to surround myself with those people. That being said, I was also indulging in the college lifestyle, and I was going out a lot, especially my first couple years. And I was partying way too much, and so that affected my body as well. So a lot of times, if I was showing up to the gym, I wasn't able to give my all. I wasn't eating very well. I was out there drinking. So a lot of those things affected me as well. And then about halfway through college, this was maybe 2017. I think it was November of 2017. I was at the heaviest I'd ever been in my life, just totally out of shape. And I was looking at myself in the mirror one day and I was like, this needs to change. Like this, I'm at like a breaking point here. Like I'm in the gym, I'm doing the right things, but I'm still not getting results. And I think it's because of my other lifestyle choices. So for me, I took a whole month off of drinking, just went to the extreme. I decided absolutely no alcohol for a month. And so I did no alcohol for a whole month. I really started tracking everything I ate. And I was sharing this with you the other week, but for a couple of years, really, I started just tracking almost everything I ate in MyFitnessPal. And so I kind of went through a few stages, and I wasn't really aware of this until afterwards. But usually when you have something that you're not confident in and you don't really know how to do, you go through this stage of unconscious incompetence. So that means you're bad at it and you don't even know it. Then eventually you hit this stage of conscious incompetence. So that means you know that you're bad at it, but you're still bad at it. Then eventually you work on that and you try to get better. You do research and you try to put in the work to get better. And then eventually you hit this stage of conscious competence where you're better at it. You're actually finally good at this thing, but you have to be aware of it. So you have to be doing things like tracking your eating, tracking your workouts and that kind of thing. It still doesn't necessarily come as second nature, but then eventually you do that long enough and you move into unconscious competence. And that means it kind of just happens on autopilot. Like Zach was saying earlier, he kind of does these things, but he doesn't really think about it anymore. It's just kind of like part of his routine.
That boy Zach built different.
He is. But I would imagine like he kind of went through something similar at some point, kind of taught himself how to do these things, and then it became habit. And I think anyone who's struggling with something, you have to give yourself time to go through that process. You have to understand that you probably don't even know you're bad at it now. You have to realize that, recognize that, be bad at it, and sit in that for a little while, understanding that you don't know how to solve it, and then teach yourself how to solve it. And for me, it was surrounding myself around people who had made this a habit, who were already working out, asking them questions, being willing to put myself out there. And I also shared with you, I just totally immersed myself in that world. I started listening to a fitness podcast like every day. I was listening to it like multiple times a week, just immersing myself in this world. And eventually I just started learning things and I got in the best shape of my life. And things just started to change for me. You know, I was in better shape, which made me more confident. And then the more confident I got, the easier it was to put that work in, the more I was able to put myself out there. And I saw that just affect every area of my life. And so I'm a much more confident person now because of that work that I put in. And I think that to gain confidence, if you're not confident, you have to be willing to kind of be terrible for a while and not be confident and put in that work, knowing that one day it's going to pay off, even though you're not seeing it until months or years later.
Man, from the way that you described how you took some of that and you had to sit in it and you had to seek out people who knew what to do, and then you had to be okay with sucking at it and just gained competence little by little, going from unconscious and bad to the stages of unconscious and good. Man, that sounds like a religious experience to me.
It was intense, man. It was intense, and it was, again, it was very humbling too. You know, because you have to come to terms with the fact that you are terrible at something. And that's just the case, and it's your responsibility and your responsibility alone to change those things. And you know, I think with all things that you eventually get good at, you have to come to this moment where you just realize no one's going to give you a magic bullet. No one's going to come save you from it. It's literally up to you to save yourself from it. And I just had one of those moments where I was like, enough is enough. Something's got to change. I got to go to the extreme. Like, it's not going to cut it if I just say I'm going to cut down a little bit on these things. I need to make extreme changes. And then now I still drink. I'll drink like maybe a couple times a week. Sometimes it depends. I'll usually do 1 month off in January every month. I've done that for the last few years, and I really like that reset. Nice. But I don't take it to the extreme all the time. And I think you don't have to, as long as you give yourself that time to kind of learn and build those routines and build those habits and build that unconscious competence.
And I think what's really cool about your story is that it highlights how when you get to a certain point and you have to take measures that a lot of people, if not everyone around you, would look at as extreme, and they might say, oh, you don't have to be taken so serious, like calm down, it's not that bad. And only you will be able to say in your mind, like you might give the friendly like, oh, yeah, you know, I kind of just get intense about it sometimes, but only you in your mind know, no, you have no clue. This is something that I've been battling with, and I am not going to break on this right now. Like, I'm saving face with you right now, but this is a war on the inside going on. And I think
the honest truth is, if you do have people around you that are not supporting those goals and those changes you want to make, you have to cut them out. So in that process, the part I don't talk about as much is there was people I had to cut out, like totally cut out or distance myself from, because when I would tell them, hey, I'm taking a month off of drinking, rather than saying, oh, that's great, like I see why you're doing that, and like being receptive to it, they would say, why would you do that? We're going out tonight. Why are you not coming with? Yeah. Because they were so used to this idea of me that was the guy that would go out all the time and was that party guy. So it was, you know, most people don't really want the version of you that is best for you. They want the version of you that best suits them. And so if you can understand that and just recognize that, and that's literally the case for everyone. And that's not something to be upset about. It's just something to recognize and understand that if you find people who have the same version of that, if the version of you that best suits them is also the version of you that you want for yourself, those are the people you need to be around, because the incentives are aligned. They're going to support you in your goals because they want to see you be that version that you want to see.
Absolutely. Everybody, man, give that thing up for that man, Brody, right there. He kicked some fire here. So now, Zach, man, let's get into your story, man.
All right. Where do I start? So I guess I would really start, the two things I've always like thought about was like my hair and my skincare. Growing up, I like Brody said that, you know, I wasn't the most confident person. I made a whole brand based on confidence just to really emphasize that in terms of the height. But I remember, like, I've had some crazy wild hairdos growing up. I had long Justin Bieber hair in like 6th grade. Well, when I first moved to Florida, believe it or not, I had a perm. Hair. I was just like testing different things out.
A/B testing.
No, literally. So I think I was around maybe 8th or 9th grade. I would like sit on YouTube and just look up like what are the best styles of hair for different like most popular. And I came to this one video that explained it was like it said a whole bunch of random stuff at the very end. Well, this is all you have to do. I was like, okay, cool. So they said if you have short hair, now this is all subjective because everyone has different hairdos and different styles, but like in general, general consensus, if you have like short like on the sides and then long on the top, a lot of people find that generally attractive. I don't know where they got that data from. He could just made that up, but but I did that for a while and it seemed to work. And honestly, I ended up liking it, and so I kind of stuck with that through, I wouldn't say for most of high school and definitely through college, but so yeah, that was kind of like me going through my hair journey. My skincare journey, I don't know if this happens to everyone, but so I'm Asian and I know Asians get really ashy if you don't put lotion on. Found out the hard way because
Truth.
if when I was in freshman in high school, I didn't put on lotion yet, and then I went to class and I got roasted by everyone in class. Like, bro, like you're mad ashy. I didn't even know what that meant. And then I realized like, oh, I should put on lotion. So I would, after I take a shower, I put on lotion every day, and I felt better. My skin got better, and ever since then, it just became a habit routine. Like as soon as I get out of the shower, I used to just put on my arms and my face, but I was like, it felt really good. So I would just start putting it on like my entire body, and then that every time I do that now, and to this day, I think I have a good skincare routine and stuff like that. But to go back to Looksmaxxing, I've never really heard the term before until you hit me up about it recently. But to me, it sounds kind of like the other term, like a glow up. Like as you know, obviously as teenagers, as we get older, we tend to figure out what we like and don't like. Some people look better than others, but I mean, I feel like, but then you have people who make a lot of money and then say reconstruct their whole personality and face and everything to look better. So, I mean, can money help you look better? I guess so. But I mean, it's really like Brody says, this stuff that you do every day, the small little habits, and it's just doing that. One of my favorite books is called The Power of Habit, and it breaks.
Great book. I love that book. Oh yeah, I got it right there.
Oh, you do?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a yellow covered book, and it really breaks down the 4 parts of a habit, which is like the routine. It's like, I forget what it's like. There's routine, then there's the reward at the end, and the beginning there's I forget what it doesn't matter. Anyways, but so I think that's, I mean, what else is there to say? But yeah.
Yeah, man. And you're right when you say like it's not something that people really talk about, and that is something that I think that warrants a little bit of conversation in itself. Like, so when it comes to men in general, there is the first person to talk to me about like maintaining myself and looking decent, and I used to think he was the craziest person for it, was my uncle, the same one that you've met, Brody.
Handsome guy. He knows how to look smacks.
He would spend, I think he took it a little far, because he would spend like, man, he could spend anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half. If we were going to go to the mall, he would spend that much time getting ready. And I'm like, what are you doing in there? Like, how long does it take to take a shower? And I didn't realize he was shaving his beard. Bro. He was shaving the head. He was, doing all the cologne.
Wait. I have something to say about this. So I don't realize this. If you ever go out with me, it takes me longer than a girl sometimes. I'll just throw on an outfit, and I'll throw on like 10 other outfits before I head out, and then I'll put on the original one that I had on in the first place.
Ain't no way.
No, but like I'm just like I don't know. And my roommate, he said he's not bad, but he's just as bad, because like I was like, bro, it's like 45 minutes later, he's like, bro, I'm still doing my beard. I'm like, bro, come on.
Beards take time. Like it takes time to like maintain it, because they're just always growing. So like mine doesn't grow evenly, so I have to like kind of cut down certain parts of it. It's not even just like one smooth like cut every time. It's like maintaining certain parts of it.
Right.
That
100%.
grow at different paces.
Same here. Yeah. My beard, it doesn't grow evenly. So I try to let it go crazy, so that way when a barber comes, they make it look nice and even. But that's expensive, man. Doggone inflation plus tips. Oof.
I wouldn't know. honestly.
My beard barber is about this tall, this big around. It's just a little guy that I keep in my toothpaste holder.
Nice, bro. I got to get on that, man.
It's a way to do it. It is expensive to like add it to the haircut routine. They mark it up like a whole extra like 50% sometimes. So,
Wow.
yeah, depending on the barber, obviously they all have different prices, but it could be very expensive to add that.
Who do you go to?
I go to this guy Alex. He's at Floyd's Barbershop off
one?
of Mills.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I've been to Mills, the Floyd's before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Alex is my guy.
I don't know if I might have actually been to that one. I might have used that
Blonde
one.
hair.
I can't
Just
remember.
recently?
I only went to once. I go to a place by the private airport. It's called Master Barbers. And they have like so many awards. They cut all like the NBA players' hairs and stuff. It's pretty
Wow.
Nice.
cool. Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to have a good barber that like you can go to again and again, and that like understands what it is that you want. Because I mean, it took me a while to find one after I moved here, to find someone I like jived with and everything. I think like personality fit is a big thing too, because it's someone that you're going to be sitting there talking to for potentially like half an hour. But if you can find someone that you can go to again and again, then you get consistent results, and you can be confident that like when you do go get a haircut,
And they start to know your hair, they know your style. I mean, I think every guy is loyal to their barber, and if you leave barbers, it's something either they moved or I have some wild barber stories. Moved here, I went to the guy across the street from me. He was. And I walked out more stressed out than I am when I came in.
Oh yeah, he's not one of
You
those.
don't want
No, because he's always telling me about crazy stories, always yelling at customers while he's cutting hair. He grew up in Jamaica, and one day he was telling about how he pulled out a shotgun at a lady, and he's like, I was like, what? I'm in my head, I'm thinking like, I'm never coming back here again.
Yeah,
and he's like, I know where
real.
you live. You better come back here. I'm like, Jesus.
that is not the approach at all. No.
Sometimes I'll be because he works right near my place. So I was like, I'll be walking and he'll see me, and I'm like,
Bro.
Just
put a plastic paper bag over your head.
No, you want to find a barber that like when you're getting your haircut, it just feels like you're hanging out with one of the boys.
Oh,
yeah,
Just like
100%.
chopping it up, like asking about their weekend, and it's an enjoyable experience. And then eventually over a couple of haircuts, they get to know your hair well, and like they can make the kinds of moves where they're like setting you up for like the next haircut,
Right,
rather than just like
100%.
one haircut.
how often do you go?
I usually go once a month, I would say. So I don't go super often.
Okay.
If I was really going as often as I wanted to, and like I had the time to, I'd probably go every 2 weeks or so.
I go every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And if I have an event, I'll go every week. Like,
Oh, for sure.
like,
Yeah, if I've got an event coming
like-
up, I'm for
like
sure
I went
going.
I went on vacation last week, so I got a haircut. I have something going on tonight. I might get a haircut. If he's around, I'm gonna text him. We'll see. But I love getting my haircut. Makes you feel good.
It
Makes you
does.
feel
It
good.
really does, yeah.
Makes you feel refreshed.
Especially some of them, they'll do this thing where they like after they shave you up and whatnot, they'll come take like the skin blade and cut, and then they'll do like the cream on it and all that, and then when they whip it up off of you, then they bring the it's like the alcohol stuff, and they dab you up, and you're just like, ooh, I know I'm sharp right now.
That does sound nice.
So for you, I wanted to guys, what is it that within the culture of, generally speaking, guys, we don't talk about that or consider it as something big unless we're presented to it by someone that's significantly older, like in my case, my uncle, or like it doesn't happen until we just hit this rock bottom state?
That's a good question. I mean, Zach was talking about this off air before we started about how like it's so commonplace that girls share skincare routines, like talk about how they get ready, talk about like how they do their hair and stuff, and it's just commonplace. I think it's just not part of like the culture, like you said. Like guys aren't used to doing that. And so I think it's good to like break down those routines. I never really like my friends growing up were never like that. But then like I ended up finding myself around people in college that were very into self-improvement, where we would literally talk about like, what are we going to wear out tonight? Like we would like trade ideas on that, or we would talk about like the product we use in our hair or something. And there's nothing wrong with that as a guy. Like it just, you help like lift each other up when you do that.
Go ahead,
I was gonna say, I think it's something interesting. Like, so you know how like groups of girls generally all want to hang around other attractive girls. If there's like a group of like 8s and 10s, they're all gonna be around other 8s and 10s. Like, and I think guys are the same. Like, for the most part, if you ever got a group of guys going out for the night, and you all look decent, and then unless that one guy that's super fat is funny as hell, but I mean,
You gotta have that one.
you could have that one, but like in general, I feel like we find groups of other guys who like all like to look nice, like if we're all like trying to figure out what are we wearing, like I'll still text my boys like, yo, what are you wearing tonight? Oh, it was just a t-shirt and jeans, even if it's simple, like. We generally care about what we look like. I think most people do. And the people that don't, I feel like I don't naturally do that. I think it's just like, all my friends, I think about like, we care about our hygiene. We care about the way we look, except my roommate, and I give him so much crap about it every day. But
he needs a friend like you.
But in general, yeah, I think, I was telling you guys earlier about, one of my friends, she has really nice skin that other girls commented her about it. And she's like, oh, I need to make a Amazon storefront explaining all the stuff. And it's like, well, we don't really do that.
Yeah.
So.
No, I've noticed that too. Like when girls get, like I see it with my girl all the time because she likes to dress well and she'll get compliments from other girls like in passing. And she's always like, oh, I got it on this. I got it on like, here's how you get it. And I think that's so cool because they're complimenting it, thinking like, oh, I wish I knew how to find that. And she's like giving that value. I think it's important for guys to do that too. I always try to drop wherever I got a shirt if I get a compliment on it, or like tell them like what kind of shirt it is or whatever it is, because I feel like that's valuable.
Yeah, definitely. And that ability to like link each other up, like, oh, hey, if you want some like decent pants, whether it's some khakis or something that looks nice for going out, like, oh yeah, here's a place over here, 50% off. Like, and thinking about it, like, I know girls when they get together, they're like, oh yeah, this place over here has all these deals going on. And then as guys, when we get together, we're just like, this shirt, I got it like a month ago. Maybe a year ago. Maybe it was a year ago. And so that retention could be important there for us. So I want to go ahead and jump into some of the specific elements of Looksmaxxing and get you guys' method of handling each of these here. So the first one that we have up is when it comes to skincare routines. How can a person improve their skincare routine?
Zach's the guy for this one. I have no skincare routine except for just putting on sunblock before I go out because I've got Irish in me and I will burn like crazy.
All right, so I'm down. I'll go first. The first thing you need to do is find when you take a shower, soap that everyone's skin's different. Soap that you like, that smells good, that feels good, that actually feels like it's washing your body. I use Dove's Men Care Plus. I've used that for years, and I'm sure millions of other guys use it too. So I use that for body wash, and then I also have the Men's Care Plus for the hair, and for then I feel like a lot of guys don't do this. Is I have a face wash, so I have 3 different things.
Quick question when it comes to the body wash.
Yeah.
For application, what do you apply it with? Because I've heard that there can be a difference depending if you use something like a scrunchie, like the little
the scrubbies.
Scrubbies, or whether you use like a wash rag or just do it by hand.
So it's funny. I use a scrubby. I love the scrubbies. I feel like it cleans me more. But then I did some research looking online years ago. I was like, which one's better? And the short answer was, well, it depends. If whatever one you feel cleans you the most. Some people use a washcloth. Some people use a scrubby. Some people use a loafer. Whatever works for you. Some people just use their hands, which I think is weird. But I mean, but if I don't have anything else, I'll use it, which is fine. But to me, I feel like a scrubby kind of just like gets all the dirt off, and it makes you like the whole goal. I think is to make you feel like you're clean, like 100%. When you come out of the shower, you want to feel good. So those are the first three things that I do. I wake up in the morning, take a shower, hair, body, and face. And for the face wash, I use like morning cleanser, I think. I use the orange one. I'll switch between the orange and the blue one. The orange one is like, it's called Morning Burst, I think it's called. It's awesome. It has like little, because I used to got in like middle school and high school, I used to get like breakout a little bit. But this has like, I don't know, some sort of formula in it that makes it so you don't break out. So ever since then, I've been using it for like 15, 20 years. And
Oh, wow.
I don't break out anymore. So,
Another thing I'll say on that subject is because I used to break out a lot, like all throughout high school and everything. And for me, like I think for some people it's skincare routine. For me, it was my diet really. Like when I noticed immediately when I started cutting out like a lot of dairy and like just fried foods and greasy stuff like that. Like it literally just stopped completely. So I think it's important to like try things like that and give them some time and just like have a skincare routine for a little while, like see how it affects you. Try improving your diet for a little while, see how it affects you, and like see what's the root of the problem for you specifically.
Great point, 100%.
that's interesting because like I think you're probably right. For me, I don't think the diet, because I didn't break out that much, I don't think the dieting was a big issue for me. But like I said, every person's different. Every person's body's different. You never know. I know a lot of girls, they said they go on like birth control or off birth control and they break out like crazy. It's different for every person. And then I'd say the last thing, the biggest part of my skincare routine is that within I don't know if you know this, but like within like 5 to 10 minutes, your skin's already drying out after you get out of the shower. So, you know, I always wait a few minutes to like, cause if you ever put on lotion like right after when your skin's still like moist, it just comes right off. It doesn't really do much. So, you know, I'll blow up, dry my hair, whatever, brush my teeth. And then after like 5 minutes, I'll put lotion on. And I've tried so many different lotions. Lubriderm is a good starter place, but my favorite absolute gold is called Neutrogena, the big blue bottle of Neutrogena. And it's funny, you can get CVS, Walgreens, and Publix, but sometimes I have a hard time finding it. So when I find it, I'll buy like 5 bottles at a time. And it's just this big blue bottle that pumps, and it's like it makes your skin just feel so soft and smooth. And I put on my whole body, face, whatever, and then I put it on my face twice because I feel like my face gets like, I don't know why it gets dried out more. But then I'm good for the day. Like, you know, for the entire rest of the day, I don't have to put on lotion until the next time I shower, unless I go in the pool or the hot tub or something. So that's kind of my general skincare routine.
Okay, nice. Either of you, when y'all were younger, did y'all ever try, what was that one? There were like 2 of them, but the one that comes to mind, Proactive.
I never did actually. No? I don't think I did. No.
I remember I tried that because I would break out like crazy. I swear it made things worse.
Really?
Yeah, man.
I feel like people that I know that have tried stuff like that, like unless they're doing like the medical grade like medications that you take, that it hasn't really worked.
Yeah. And it's great. My uncle tried it as well. He was the one that got it, and then it worked bad for him. And I was like, I wonder if it'll work better for me. And it didn't work better for me. Most people that I've met, even if it did work for them a little bit, said that it ended up, they had to get worse before they got better. I'm like, what the heck?
Interesting.
That's weird. I disagree with that.
Yeah, I think that it just doesn't work in that case. I feel like it's because it's attacking the symptoms and not like the root of the problem. Like if it's skincare, then that's the root of the problem. If it's your diet, that's the root of the problem. And if you like attack it from the root of the problem, then it just doesn't happen in the first place.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. So appreciate all of that wisdom y'all dropped off when it comes to skincare and whatnot. The next piece that I want to look at is, how do I develop a fitness plan in order to achieve the desired physique that I want?
So I was actually a personal trainer right out of college for about 2 years technically. And it's because I got obsessed with fitness in college. So I got this. So basically a huge misconception is that like if you just dive in and like just start doing it like every day that you're gonna be successful if you're coming from not doing it at all. And I think that's a really bad mindset because that leads to people falling off in like a couple weeks. This is the New Year's resolution mindset. This is the like, this is the year I'm gonna work out every day. I'm gonna go to the gym every day, eat perfect, do everything perfect. And then in a couple weeks, they're doing none of it. And because they're doing none of it, they're like, I failed again next year. And then like they think because they fell off totally that they can't do it at all. So when I was a personal trainer, I would have someone come to me and they'd have that kind of mindset. They'd be like, I want to come 4 days a week, an hour a time, maybe even 2 hours. And I'd be like, hold up there, bucko. Like you're going to come 1 day a week. Once you can prove to me that you've done that for a month, then we'll talk about 2. When you've proven that you've done that for a couple months, then we'll talk about 3. And I would have clients longer because of that, because they weren't coming in and just burning out immediately or like missing a day and being like, oh my God, my massive goal that I had, I like fell off of it. Now what will I do? If you start small and just build like little baby steps, this is the case for anything, not just fitness, like your work routine. If you're trying to build a better work ethic, if you're trying to have a better skin routine, if you're trying to like do better in business, you can't just say, I'm going to do everything all at once because it's just not how human psychology works.
Yeah.
If you have that mindset and you fall off the wagon, you're going to get so down on yourself. So I think the best way you can develop a good fitness routine, I know people have literally told me that they'll start by just going to the gym. They don't even work out at first. They'd make a habit of like going to the gym once a week. And then they build on that. Like once they're going, they're like, I might as well walk 5 minutes on the treadmill. Then the next time they're like, I might as well do a half an hour. And then the next time they're like, might as well pick up a couple weights. And you kind of build on it with baby steps, but you have to start with one tiny step in the right direction that you know undeniably you can stick to. And that could be something as simple as literally just showing up to the gym without doing anything. But you have to be honest with yourself with that and just understand where to start, or you're not setting yourself up for long-term success.
You heard of that thing called Get Better 1% Every Day?
Yeah.
I forget, it's in one of the books, but it's like, but yeah, no, I 100% agree with you because I started my fitness journey back in high school or middle school. It's funny. So in middle school, in gym class, they made us do pull-ups, and in 6th or 7th grade, everyone could do like maybe 1 or 2. I could do maybe like 5, probably because I'm just lighter anyways, but like, then the next summer or next year, I did pull-ups like every day, and I was able to do like 20 and get like the max in the class. And it was fun. And like, it's but like there's been times throughout like college and everything where I don't work out as much. So when getting back in, it's like you get in a rut of not working out. So how do you get back into a routine of working out? And you do have to start really slow. Like I was like, cause I used to get mad at myself. I was like, damn, I was hitting like 45 plates for bench pressing, and now I'm back at 25s because I haven't worked out in like 4 months. But you just have to, I was like, you know what? You just have to go like have a schedule, like, and stick to as much as possible. What I actually do now is like, I just ask ChatGPT and give it a schedule, and it tells me sets, reps, how long to rest for. And I mean, I've been working out my whole life, so like I know I don't even need it, but like it's good to have that structure. I know a lot of people bring like a piece of notepad and paper and write stuff down. Anything that you can do to track it, because let's just say you do 10 push-ups one day, and then the next day you do 11, and then up by 1. By the end of the month, you can do up by 30 because you can do 1 more every day, and that goes for any scale. And so yeah, I think there's this book called The Something Effect. I forget what it's called.
The Compound Effect.
Yes.
Great book.
Yes, it's an amazing book. Highly recommend. And it really talks about that. If you look at the data and you try to whatever you're trying to do, whether it's fitness or whatever, and try to get better with it, if you trust the numbers, you will get better 100%.
Albert Einstein said the 8th wonder of the world is compound interest. And that goes with not just money, but all things. Like if you do just compound a little bit every day or every week, you're going to get significantly better. You don't have to go to the extreme, because if you do go to the extreme, you'll be upset when you don't meet it. The other thing is when you do inevitably fall off the wagon, even if it is something small, if you've set this like goal that you're going to 100% stick to, and then you fall off one day, you can't get upset at yourself for it. You got to just be like, happens. I'll do it the next week.
Yeah.
Because if you're thinking about that one single week, you're going to be very upset. But if you zoom out and you think about an entire lifetime of fitness, that's a blip on the radar. It's nothing, missing that one day. So if you get upset with yourself, you're going to be like, oh, I must just not be able to do this. When in reality, if you're just good 70, 80% of the time at it, you're going to be in great shape.
Yeah.
I'd say it's also good to have goals. Like I always get more in shape when I have like music festival I'm going to. If I know I'm going into like in 3 months, there's this big music festival, I'll work out every day for that until that music festival to look good. There's a music festival going on tonight, and I was like, well, probably not going to look as good because I spent a week off just messing around, but whatever. But it's going to, like, summer's here. People like want to look good for summer, and then for different events. If you have an event that you're going to in a few months, have that as your goal. And like, I think fitness is fun. I guess a lot of people don't. Probably just because I grew up playing sports, right? But did you play any sports growing up? Or?
I did.
What'd you play?
So I play kind of a little bit of everything, mostly soccer, but basketball, football, soccer, just a little bit of everything.
And did they teach you how to work out and stuff?
They
kind
did.
Of thing, like group workout sessions?
It was mostly group workout sessions. So for me, doing it on my own was something I had to like teach myself, because I was so used to like having, like, if I was working out, there was like someone, like a coach there, someone teaching me. And I was like motivated by the group, doing it in the group. So I think a lot of people get out of sports and then all of a sudden they're like, what do I do? I don't know how to do this on my own. It's a common trend I've noticed. I knew a lot of people that were in high school sports all throughout high school, and then all of a sudden they got into college and put on tons of weight because they got out of that routine.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and you see that all the time, especially with people that were in sports. They maintain the appetite that they had while doing sports, but they don't maintain the fitness afterwards. And then 10 years later, that's when you definitely start to see that change happen. So when it comes to the physique aspect, something interesting that when we look at the idea of falling off is that even if you do fall off at a certain point, if you have been, like you've been saying, Zach, getting better 1% every day, if you fall off on day 30, you can still look back and be like, man, I'm still doing 30% more than I was doing before. So now I'm just one day removed from 31%, as opposed to I just blew up my whole everything that I was doing. So yeah, I definitely think that the 1% effect and tracking, being able to see that improvement as it happens, can do a lot just to motivate yourself in kind of the strides that you've made of it. And when it comes to the actual physical build that a man on average takes, what do you guys think comes off as the most attractive fitness build, stature-wise, and just purely from an attraction standpoint to women?
So I have a little bit of a controversial view on this that like got changed a little bit recently. My first reaction, and I think most guys' first reaction would be to say like focus on like broad shoulders, big back, big chest, six pack, that kind of thing. My girl told me like, I want you to work on getting bigger quads, like bigger legs. And I would have never thought of that. There's so many dudes that are like pizza shaped out there.
like
They're just doing nothing but like lats and chest, which is great, but you've got to do legs too. And the funny thing about legs as well, if you do legs and you're like get good at squats, heavy squats and that kind of thing, doing legs and working out your legs sends more testosterone throughout the body than working anything else. So it kind of boosts everything else.
100%. And a lot of people don't know that their testosterone is going to play a big role, one, in recovery. So it's going to allow you to lift more. Two, it's another day that you can take to kind of split, which also adds to that muscle recovery so that you can do more in the gym as well. But yeah, doing those leg type exercises is vital in terms of being able to squeeze as much testosterone from yourself as you can.
And if you were doing nothing but legs and then like if you're doing 80% legs and 20% upper body, your upper body might honestly grow as fast or faster than just doing upper body, which is a weird thing because of that testosterone. It's like taking natural steroids.
Yeah.
Well, there's also a lot of exercises that hit multiple muscle groups. So let's say for deadlifts, for example, it can also hit. It does not just your hamstrings, but also your back. It's great for your back. It's great for your core. So like if you did deadlifts twice a week and you really practice form and did better. I'm actually not good at this, so I'm not to speak on this. I'm trying to get better at it. But in general, like there's definitely other, especially there even squats, like they hit multiple groups. So you're not just hitting legs, you're hitting upper body, you're hitting multiple things at the same time. So
yeah, definitely being able to do something that's like either a full body or like the compound movements, I think they call them. Awesome results, because then you can squeeze in more into that. Like if you're limited on time, you can only hit like a 30-minute, 45 minutes as opposed to an hour and a half maybe if you want to. Then it just allows you to get more of it. So really good.
If there was one workout, if I had to pick one workout routine for the rest of my life and I could never change it and it was 30 minutes long, I would do a few heavy barbell squats, a few heavy bench presses, a few heavy upper like shoulder press with the barbell, and then a few deadlifts. Those 4 compound lifts get you more results than almost anything else.
Man,
basics.
Basics. And when you say the barbell squats, you're talking about putting the bar on your
back usually. Yeah, I mean you can do down on your back, or you can do what's called front squats, where you have the barbell in front of you. They're both valuable because they hit different areas more. If you put it on your back, then naturally it's just going to hit more of the back of you. So it's going to hit more glutes, hamstrings, that kind of thing. Whereas if you do front squats, it's going to hit more of your quads. So they're both valuable, but you get more, in my opinion, out of back squats because you can just do more weight.
Right.
So, I warm up when I do legs. I always warm up with a dumbbell. I hold a dumbbell and then I do squats, because it gives you that perfect. I heard this a while ago. It gives you like a perfect squat form, and like so you can like stretch your muscles. Like I like regularly doing regular squats, but I'll start with doing that like to warm up and everything.
That is smart, like goblet squats.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but like you take the dumbbell, you hold it,
like this,
and then you squat down. So like
interesting as a warm up exercise, you say.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's actually a great idea. I've never heard that, but it makes sense because just having it in front of you does not, like if you struggle with the form of a squat, it does naturally make it a little bit easier.
Yeah. I might have to implement that next time I go. Good tip. Yeah. And I think, Brody, you hit on it really good. You said your girlfriend said that she actually doesn't want you with the super wide chest.
Well, to be clear, she wants it all.
Oh, okay.
But
she's like priority-wise.
Yeah, priority-wise.
Okay. She's like, before you over-index, get correct with the whole thing. Okay, makes sense.
And it's probably because I had neglected it a little bit, so I was probably lacking a little bit.
Yeah, and what I've seen more so is I've seen different kind of social experiments where you have like the guy that's like super buff, like swolled up out of his shirt, like you can kind of tell that he probably even does something, and the ratings that women will typically give guys that are super muscled out like that versus a guy that has more of like a Brody build or like a Zach build, they actually kind of prefer a more like slim down, like fit and just kind of
like well-rounded.
Yeah, well-rounded, like lean athletic look, as opposed to that more like Arnold Schwarzenegger look. And as far as even going long term, like short term, maybe the muscle head, just for like depending on what season of life they're in. But when it comes to like long term reliability, they would much rather prefer someone of you guys' body stature than muscle bound man.
I can only guess as to why that would be, but if I had to guess, I would say you naturally assume that someone that's that big, like if he's going to be in the gym 4 hours a day, how is he going to have time for me? I think that might be part of it. And I think the other thing is like there might be an assumption that there's some steroids or something like that going on. There's a lot of probably in a lot of cases wrong misconceptions about that because you can achieve a pretty incredible physique without steroids.
For sure.
If I had to guess, I would think that's probably why.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, it really depends. I watched a lot of those videos like Jesse James West and those funny videos where like, which guy do you like better? The ripped guy or the dad bod? And like, I think like those videos are funny as hell, but yeah, the dad bod kind of like actually outwon the ripped guy. It was just kind of interesting. And I heard the reason is because like girls are less intimidated to feel like they have to go to the gym every day and look good as well. So, you know, if a guy looks good but not extremely like ripped, you know, she likes to go to the gym too, but she doesn't feel that pressure. But I mean, then there's girls they're gym girls, gym rats, guys, gym rats. Like, I think it's all subjective and everyone has a different taste. So
it's a great point.
Yeah, kind of like depending on the level of fitness of that person is what they look for in the partner, which I think is it's a strategy that makes sense. Like I remember when I got with my now wife, like at the time I had a standard that I want a person of a certain physical fitness level, and I was way more strict about it than I would be like for now example. So good stuff on that. I want to go on and move to when it comes to hairstyles. We kind of touched on a little bit. Zach, you mentioned it really well, and we were talking about the barbers as well. But what hairstyles suits your face and becomes the style that is best for you? How do you determine that?
This is a good question. I might struggle to put this into words a little bit, but similar to Zach, I went through like a whole kind of journey with my hair. I was never really happy with it growing up. My hair tends to be very like curly. And it was only really when I like kind of leaned into that I feel like I found my flow with it, no pun intended. But I think to Zach's point, the style right now is kind of like the short on the sides and longer up top.
Right.
That's worked well for me as well. I used to go like shorter up top as well. And I kind of just looked like a thumbtack. Like,
yo, that's crazy. That's hilarious. Pinhead Larry.
Yeah, I was Pinhead Larry. But I think just going like for me, like short on the sides, a little longer, leaving it a little longer up top allows me to like lean into that style a little bit more. The one tip I'll give that was a big one for me that I never would have expected, and I've gotten flamed for this numerous times, but I stand by it. I use a blow dryer. I love a blow dryer.
Interesting.
Yeah. I also use a blow dryer every day. I didn't mention that. As soon as I get out of the shower, first thing I do is a blow dryer. First thing I do. I do the hair and then I blow dry. And that's something that I learned. And I forget whatever point it was, but a blow dryer is essential if you want to have flow and have your hair look good.
I don't even put product in mine most of the time. Like 90% of the time, I don't put product in it. I just blow dry it and kind of like get it how I want it.
Yeah. No, so I've gone through all different types of gels, pastes, and everything. Now there's actually these things, the styling powder. Have you seen this new styling powder? So I saw it on like Instagram for a while, and then my barber did it one time. It's like it doesn't like stick to your hands. It just you put a little bit on, and for some reason it blows out your hair, and you can move it however you want, and it like stays in that direction. It's weird how it works.
And it's not a gel; it's a powder.
It's a powder. It's just a powder. You put a little bit on. You just mess it around, and then you can style your hair however you like. And so I've been doing that lately. But sometimes I won't put anything in. So it's just hair dryer. And then the styling powder or nothing. That's it. So like
the other thing I'll say is you have to learn the language of cutting hair at least a little bit. So like you have to know that like when you go to your barber or if you have to find a new one, God forbid, 100%. I don't even want to think about that. But you have to know like the language of it a little bit. You got to be able to articulate, hey, I want a 2 on the sides and in the back. I want it tapered in the back, and I want a little bit off the back of the top, but then leave it a little longer in the front. And then another little tip for me, I have really, really thick hair. And so it tends to be like mangy and hard to manage in the front. So I'll actually have them thin it out a little bit in the front. So they use these little like thinning shears where they'll go through the front and then it's a little thinned out and it's just easier to style in the front.
That's a great tip. And what you just said as far as knowing the language to communicate to your barber is so big, because I've gone to barbers and I had a very specific style, short on the sides, long on the top, just like you guys are describing, and the curls immaculate, verified by many dates and whatnot. And I went to the barber and I communicated a 2 on the top, and I didn't realize what a 2 actually was. That's like you're pretty dang close to a skinhead at that point.
I got a haircut a couple days ago. This is like a 2 on the sides after a couple days. So it's pretty short.
Yeah. And so if you're a person that's trying to do this long on the top and short on the sides thing, you probably want to stick to around, what would you guys say, like a 7, 8 maybe?
On the top, it's like I don't usually communicate it as like a number as much. I usually for me, it's a little less like straightforward on the top. So I usually go with more just like try taking a 1/4 inch off. I usually start without even taking any off on the top. And then I'll say, let's see how it looks first. And then my barber now knows he'll take a little bit of his own initiative just because he knows. He'll be like, I'm going to like straighten this out a little bit. Is it okay if I do a 1/4 off the top? Okay. And then he'll take like a 1/4 inch off the top or something like that. That's
a really good point, because sometimes like you don't even want your hair lowered. You just want it to kind of be under control a little bit more. Really good point. You had a thought, Zach?
I was gonna say, so yeah, I mean, I usually get a fade on the side or a blowout, and that I've tried different things over the years, like pointing, but now it's just like a 0 on the sides, and then they shape it, the sides, so it blends it into like the top. And then I just tell them to trim the top usually. I'll right now I'm growing out the top, but then when it gets too heavy, they'll just take some off the top, and that's basically it.
Man,
the blending is another really good like part of the language of it. Like you want to tell them to blend it like as it's going from the side to the top. If you're trying to go for like more of a style like we're talking about, you got to tell them to blend it on the sides.
Because that blend can be the difference between this like very almost like natural eloquent look versus this like sudden like whoa like did you do this thing yourself?
The opposite of a blend would be like in college I used to do some, I would get what's called a hard part. So it was like right here, like it was where my hair naturally parted,
right,
and they would give a hard part where they actually like carved into it, and it was like effectively like a line of a 0, and they would like it would just like there was literally this like physical line you could see. And I don't do that anymore, but that'd be like almost the opposite of a blend where it's literally just hard cut off.
And then when it comes to different face shapes, so like some faces tend to be more narrow with the kind of triangular thing going on. Some faces tend to be a little bit more rounded. So when it comes to the different face shapes and whatnot, what hairstyles do you guys think wear well on those different kinds of faces?
That's a tough one. I haven't ever really thought of that.
You also have like the box face too, you know? So,
yeah. I mean, I would say like if you have like a skinny, narrow type of face, the long, the short sides and the long top is good. But I'm trying to think of scenarios like. I also think that having the long hair and a flow works really well on some dudes. Like they can pull it off. I definitely can't. Like the Hawaii style dudes that have like the surfer hair. Even my roommate, he has like he grew his hair out pretty long, and I think he has a rounder face. So I think longer hair on rounder faces might be good. And like I mean curly, it's so interesting. Everyone has so different type of hair. Like Puerto Ricans have such like different hair, and like it's I'm just thinking like everyone has a different style. Like you have curly hair, super curly hair. Like do you do anything with it, or like what do you?
I will curl it more and make it more of a like controlled, decent looking curl. Like when I'm taking care of it, usually it is short on the sides, and then that top has like some argan oil just to add some extra sheen to it, to give some extra texture to it.
Nice. Another thing I'll say with like face shape is if you don't find yourself having like a natural jawline and you're trying to like kind of give like a look to it, and you're able to grow out a beard, that can be kind of a hack to like smoothing out the shape a little bit. Like if you don't have that jawline, having a beard can kind of like help with that. Or if you just have like if you're not happy with how, like if I was to shave, I have like a total baby face. Like I look like a baby. So for me,
every day. We were at going into a club, and they're like asked me 3 times like, you have to be 18 to get into the club. I'm like, bro. I get that all the time.
Oh,
I couldn't grow one for the longest time. I've only been able to grow one for like maybe a couple years. Like for the longest time, I couldn't grow one at all. But like if you don't have much of a jawline, it can be a little bit of a hack.
That's a great tip right there, for sure, to kind of make a hairstyle on top work better. A beard can give you more options or make certain styles better. Great tip.
The other thing I would say about beards is like you want to keep it kind of contained too. Like you want to keep it off of the like lower neck usually is what I do. But a misconception I had is I used to shave it like right along my jawline, like on my actual jawline, and it looked a little cheesy, I would say. Like it looked like too manicured almost. And so I had someone tell me like, no, don't do that. Just do it like a little bit below your jawline and like have a little bit of shadowing under it. And for me personally, that helped a lot. Kind of not doing it exactly along the jawline, but almost like around it, and then just keeping it off the neck and kind of having like a line that you agree on. Then also like kind of keeping it above, like down a little bit from here and having like a natural like line that goes onto it.
Right.
So I have a little razor. Like I have 2 different razors that I use. I have one that's like a 0 effectively, where it like shaves all the way down to the skin. But then I have another one that's like a 3 or something like that. And that one won't shave all the way down to the skin. So because it grows out in like patches, like it doesn't grow evenly. The parts that grow faster, I'll kind of hit with the one that like mostly here on the chin. I'll hit with like the one that kind of just like shaves it down a little bit. And then the parts that I don't want any on, I'll use like the 0. And I kind of like work it that way.
Man, you've got a little blending system going too, man. I'm telling you, I'm going to be playing back this section right here.
It doesn't take long either. I probably just spend like a couple minutes on it a couple times a week. Most.
That what you mentioned as far as coming right up to the line, that's something that I only recently started realizing. Well, don't look at this for evidence right now, guys. But yeah, now when I shave, I will leave, as you said, about right here-ish and whatnot. Take all of this away and then, come up to right around. So, and that's an important thing because that can help to add to the, like the fullness or the like evenness of your beard spread out. So, man, great stuff, guys. Next up is when it comes to diet, how can I optimize my diet to enhance overall appearance and health?
I mean, I think it all comes down to, I'm working with one of my guys, my clients, he's a personal trainer, and it's really all calories. I mean, it's protein too, like depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking to gain muscle mass, you have to have a certain amount of protein. I think it's like for every, like 1 gram of protein for every pound. That's just like the standard or whatever. But, and then, you know, like, I think, I don't know. Maybe I'm not the best person to talk about this. Maybe you can talk about this.
I'll share what works for me personally. The protein thing is really important, like kind of leading with that. Because the more protein you get in, the easier it's going to be to either maintain the muscle mass if you're losing weight or to build it if you're gaining weight. And so the other thing about protein, just from like a human psychology standpoint, is it's the most satiating macronutrient. So you got protein, carbs, and fat as the 3 macronutrients. protein is the most satiating, and all that means is that it fills you up the most. So if I have like an ideal way to start the day, the other second most satiating one is fat. If I have an ideal way to start the day, I'm trying to get as much protein and fat front loaded in my day as possible. So that way I feel full for most of the day. But as far as like little hacks for protein, my favorite hack for protein is Greek yogurt. I get Greek yogurt that's like vanilla flavored. So it's got it, like you can get ones that almost taste a little bit like a frozen yogurt or something, but it's almost pure protein. Like it's got, in many cases, it's more protein per calorie than carbs. So you're literally just getting like I'll eat like an entire tub of Greek yogurt in a day sometimes, and I'm getting like 100 of the like 180 grams of protein that I should be getting all at once, and then the rest I kind of get naturally throughout the day. So I think if you can start your first meal of the day with as much protein as possible, that's a really good way to just feel full throughout the day and not want to snack if you struggle with that. But like as far as the rest of it, it's just having like a good ratio to it. You have to decide on the amount of calories that's right for you. And there's all these like calculators online that can help you do that. You just put in your information and what you're trying to do, and it'll spit out like how many calories you should have for that goal. But then as far as the tracking of it, like if you use something like MyFitnessPal, that's what I used to use.
I've used that before too.
It's really good for tracking. It has every food you can imagine, and you just put in the amount, and then it'll show you at the bottom, like, here's how much carbs you got, here's how much fat, here's how much protein. And you could almost, like a good rule of thumb is you could basically just have like the amount of protein you need to get first, and then the rest of your calories you could split up like between fat and carbs.
So that's a big, like, so as you guys have indexed on, the protein is massively important, and it's the more time that goes on, the more studies that are coming out. I mean, between the thermodynamic effect of protein, for those watching that don't know, basically the thermodynamic effect just kind of refers to how much energy your body has to use in order to absorb its contents. So when it comes to something like carbs break down very easily in your diet. And so that's why it's easier for that to become fat storage, because it requires more immediate usage. Protein takes longer to digest, and then fat takes the longest to digest. So the thermodynamic effect of protein is really, really good. So between that, getting 100 calories of protein and getting 100 calories of carbs, there's a different thermodynamic effect, even though there is a similar calorie intake to it. And so that's why I love what you said as far as front loading the day with your protein, because immediately you're turning your body into that utilization mode and work harder for it, essentially, energy to it. And then, as you were saying, it is satiating. So if you're front loading with it, you're activating your body more. Now you're satiating yourself. So when you do maybe run into a thing where you need a little something, it is a little something, as opposed to you just like running into something and just getting the tastiest treat, which is typically going to be the highest carb combination with fatty thing, which ends up just absorbing too quickly that your body can't process it. So really like that you led with the protein piece, both of you guys.
And the most extreme like version of this I can think of, and I might ruffle some feathers on this one, but you ever noticed that like most vegans are not in great shape? It's because they're not getting protein a lot of times. The vegans that are in really good shape are ones that actually know how to get the protein still.
Yeah.
But a lot of vegans are not in good shape because they're vegan, but that kind of just means they're like snacking on junk food.
Yeah.
Or carbs.
It's a lot of potato chips, rice cakes,
Shit is not
bars.
going to give you a good body.
Yeah, that's just gonna. Oh man, sorry, I was about to go on a tangent. But yeah, like, and as I've been like trying to really be serious about the protein, like once you focus on protein, you realize that what you were eating previously, you likely were not eating nearly as much protein as your body actually needed for, if you're exercising, definitely not enough for repair. enough for, if you're trying to build muscle, certainly not enough for muscle growth. But I would say just repair is like the base minimum to maintain your muscle. Eating, most people probably only take in anywhere from like a max of 50 to 75 grams of protein on a daily basis, significantly underdoing it. Like there needs to be a way more grand fixation on getting it. And Brody told me about the hack as far as focusing on like the Greek yogurt and the cottage cheese. I went out and I got some cottage cheese. And I'm still getting into the taste of it, but I've been throwing it on my fish. It is an interesting taste. Like,
oh, you tried the one I think it has cottage cheese with pineapple. That's fire. My mom used to buy that when I was a kid all the time.
Tuna packets is another good one.
Yeah,
like little just tuna packets. They're easy to bring around and transport. Turkey jerky is another one. Really good one. Turkey jerky is incredibly lean. Just turkey in general is really lean, but like, as far as like making it easy, I feel like a point I should make, especially having been a personal trainer for just a little while, like most of it comes down to like understanding your own psychology too. Like on paper, there's an optimal way to eat, even like for each individual person. It doesn't mean you're actually going to be able to stick to it every day because life happens. And when life happens and you set a plan, if you don't have a backup plan, you have no plan. So I think the most optimal way to eat is like what you can stick to. And the reason I mentioned like these little hacks is because if I have little hacks and things that are easy to achieve, then I achieve them more often. So like the Greek yogurt thing, I'm a busy guy. If I can pull out a tub of Greek yogurt and just take it on the go, like I just finished my degree, my MBA, and I was in night classes for 4 hours every Tuesday and Thursday night. And I would literally bring this tub of Greek yogurt to class and just be eating this like entire tub of Greek yogurt in class. And people were like, what are you doing? Be like, I'm getting the protein. Like, and for me, I was
love
like
the
coming
dedication.
from working all day to doing that. So like for me to find a way to get like a more balanced meal was just not really in the cards. And so that was a way for me to avoid snacking on something that would be less protein rich.
And when it comes to another thing too, when you focus on protein, as you mentioned with the Greek yogurt, not only is it high in protein, but it's got a lot of really good things like your probiotics that you would need. What I've noticed about protein is the higher the source of it is, typically the more nutrients that come with it as well. You think about your eggs, the egg yolk, a lot of people demonize it because of some media stuff that happened a few years ago, but the yolk of an egg, the fats of it is omega-3s. It's so good for you. It's great for your brain health. When it comes to fish has just the omega-3s in that with the protein in there. And then the further away from pure protein you get of it to it having more carbs in it, you'll also notice a decline in the nutrients of it as well. So the purer you can stay to that protein source or that something that has a high protein content, likely the better that you're feeding your body anyways all around. Steak is so good because it has carotene, which is good for muscle repair, like healing soreness. And a lot of people have to take what did I say? Creatine.
Creatine.
Creatine is something that is naturally, you get it naturally from something like a steak, which is an abundant source of protein.
Creatine's great for building muscle too. Like if you're not getting steak every day and you want like an easier, maybe cheaper way to do it, I'm not taking it right now, but I just went through a period of taking it for a while, like late last year when I was really trying to like get back on like a muscle building kind of phase. Creatine is really good because basically what it does is it helps your muscles store more water. So when you drink, if you have creatine and you're drinking a lot of water as well, your muscle bellies just naturally store more of that water. So you end up getting more reps when you go to lift. You might be able to lift a little heavier naturally. You might be able to get like a couple extra reps. And because you get those extra couple reps and extra couple pounds in your lifts, you end up building more muscle.
Yeah. So that is something really big there. When it comes to this one, we may have touched on this a little bit. What grooming habits should I adopt or improve on to maintain a well-groomed look?
For me, the big thing is like the beard thing, things like wearing deodorant, like as simple as that sounds. His skincare routines, I think that was really good stuff. I think just having those little, like, it's not one thing, it's a bunch of little like miniature like habits and routines that all make up collectively the big thing.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And like whenever I go on vacation or anywhere, I have to have like specific products, and like I get so attached to these brands. Like I have Carmex for my lips. My lips get so dry, and I put them on. I put it on right after I brush my teeth. And then for like the first hour after I put it on, it looks like I have lipstick on there, and so all my friends make fun of me for the first hour every day, and I just don't care anymore. But yeah, and like deodorant, all the basics. And then I mean, and then I will say I think everyone, actually I got this advice from my ex-girlfriend's mom. She was like, you got to put on cologne. I was like, why? I just came out of the shower. I smell fine. She's like, girls love that. I was like, all right. I was like, it's so hard to find, like when you find a cologne, like I think it's, like I try to find one that's not too overpowering because I have so many of those. The one I use now, it's Dior Sauvage. And it's the one I use. And I know a lot of other guys use it too, but I think it smells really good. What do you guys use for cologne?
All the cologne I have has been gifted to me by like family members and stuff. But what I've really liked is like the Calvin Klein ones. Those I like a lot.
Yeah.
There's a few different ones. I think my favorite I've ever used was it's called Obsession by Calvin Klein.
Oh, snap.
That one I liked a lot. There's a few other ones that are like Burberry ones that I have.
I've used this Calvin Klein Summer. Have you tried that one?
I haven't tried that one, but
that one's really good.
Yeah, they've got really good stuff in general.
Yeah.
That would be my go-to.
Yeah. I think that's what my dad normally is the one that my dad and my mom love to give me with cologne. And they definitely lean towards the Dior. Yeah.
Dior's good. You know, Usher's cologne is really good. I love that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to peep that out. What's the name of that one?
Usher.
Oh. Usher by Usher.
Wow. He really stretched the tank for that one.
It's called Usher Cologne, I think. I don't know.
Oh, Usher's too big on the name to name it anything other than Usher.
Okay. So this next one here, and we are going to be coming to the wrap up here. Maybe another 15-ish minutes. That'll put us close to being out by the time you need Brody. When it comes to posture, how can I improve on my posture and my body language to enhance my physical presence?
Pulling your shoulders back is huge. So this is something I learned like probably 5 years ago or so. But if you pull your shoulders back and you've got like kind of like, rather than having rounded shoulders, you're kind of pulling them back and sitting up straight. It actually releases, I forget which one always, but it's either more dopamine or more serotonin into your body as well. So if you pull your shoulders back, not only does it give you the appearance of having better posture, but it also kind of like just makes you feel better in general. And the tough thing about that is everyone's working like desk jobs, office jobs right now, or like sitting down for long periods of time. So when you're doing that and you're like working, like you naturally kind of round your shoulders forward. So you have to actively kind of like almost fight against that and just pull your shoulders back. Honestly, I got really lucky because my mom would always get on me about it when I was a kid. Like at the dinner table, I'd be like slunched forward. She'd be like, sit up straight. And I just did.
I love that point because it is, so there's levels to it, right? There is sit up straight. But then when you sit up straight, you can still kind of sit up straight like this, or it can feel awkward. But if you do take on that thought of pull your shoulder blades back, you inevitably end up sitting up straight, you poke out your chest, you open up your sternum more, which allows just for more airflow as well. So I really like that because it's everything else follows pulling those shoulder blades back.
When I was a personal trainer, I had to learn all these like body cues to get people to have the right form, right? And so I picked up all kinds of things. Like an example is like when someone was doing like an overhead press with like a barbell, the ideal thing is you kind of have to poke your head forward to do it right, to be in the right posture without like rounding your back and potentially hurting your lower back. So I used to tell people like, imagine there's a little like window in front of your face and you have to like poke your head into it every time you go up. Having those little cues to think about are really helpful in just like positioning yourself the right way. So like I would literally tell people like, imagine someone's got like little strings attached to your shoulders and they're like pulling them backwards, like literally pulling them backwards, and like imagining that, you just kind of naturally fall into order.
Yeah, like when you're working out, like you said, like even I've had personal trainers before, like just like put your shoulders back when you're doing an exercise, and the difference, and you feel it more. It's crazy how much one small little change can actually, like, you can feel a big difference. And everything.
Yeah, because even the small differences that we're talking about, like the difference between being at like a perfectly straight line when you go to lift something versus even having like a small like 2-degree angle change can be the difference between walking away with some type of like back spasm kind of pain feeling and walking away completely just good, like enough to stimulate tension but not to cause strain in your back that puts you out of commission. So form is a huge thing. So definitely, I think the big takeaway from all of that is like really figure out what are those super necessary cues. Maybe go to someone like either a bodybuilder online or someone that you know, or not necessarily bodybuilder, but a physical trainer that will be, their point is to optimize your postures in different ways, so that way you can actually see what all are you doing that needs to be just fixed in every way. Going through all the different little moves and whatnot. All right, so the next one is, what fashion styles and clothing fit my body type and personal style? How do you determine that?
Oh, all right. I was gonna say,
you're the fashion guy. You got this.
well, I do think you're universally. I've heard this for a long time, where you want to have it fit your body, no matter, even if you're thicker, skinnier, whatever. Find clothes that really fit your body type. That's the number one thing to looking better. Like even if you're like a heavier set guy, but you find clothes that fit tighter on you, it will make you look better. And but it's interesting because now there's the oversized tee trend, which I like to do. So it's technically not, but it's still, I'll be wearing like a small, it's smaller on the neck, but it'll have like wider on the shoulders or the arms. But in general, like you want to find pants that aren't too long, shirts that don't go down to like your knees or stuff like that, shorts that don't go like down your ankles. I think that's like the number one thing you can do. The other one is matching. I think matching always, we talked about this before, but being aware of how different colors can affect the way you look. Actually had this in conversation with this girl. She only wears like earth tones because she's like, those look good on her skin. And then I thought about it. I was like, well, actually, I do tend to wear colors that look good on my skin, as opposed to, well, if I wear brown on brown, it looks kind of weird. But if on like a lighter skinned person like you can pull off like a darker brown t-shirt and probably look fine with it. But so yeah, everyone's skin tone is different, and some people don't even think about that. So
Totally agree. I would say like, one, I have a very hard stance against cargo shorts. That's one that's like baked into me. And I will say I used to wear them, and then
they're so versatile.
Myself.
So
they're
many
very
pockets.
versatile, but I would say another one is just like the best fashion advice I could give. I heard someone talk about this is like, the more you can get into shape, the better you'll look in anything. But aside from that, just like colors that like get feedback on the colors that you wear. Like I've naturally gravitated towards wearing more of the colors that I get compliments on. And it goes back to what I was saying, I think off air before, just like about listening to your customers, listen to feedback that you get from things, and like be observant of like, of when people do give you like a compliment on a shirt or a pair of pants or a pair of shoes or something, and then just lean into that style more and more, because it can be difficult otherwise to figure out what works perfectly for you, because like to your point, it's different for everyone. So I've always just tried to lean into like the feedback that I get from people.
Yeah, I know that there's a tool out there. I forget what the name of it is, but there's a tool that actually you tell it what your skin type is or what your skin tone is, and it will tell you based off of that what colors would help to either make the clothes pop out more on you or to highlight the certain features that you inputted in. So if you have really brown eyes, it might suggest that you wear like greens and what did I say? Blue eyes, brown eyes? If you have really blue eyes, if you wear like something green or something blue, that kind of, it's there, and then it makes the person notice it, and then your eyes are set against it, versus if you have something like really dark hair with light skin, then you might wear something that is dark, and that might help for your face to pop out more. For darker tone people, sometimes it could be like a purple or like darker set colors. And so this tool, I forget what the name of it is, but
I know what you're talking about. I think
you know it.
Yeah, I forget what it's called too, but
Yeah.
I've looked into it in the past before. It's an interesting concept. I don't think it was very developed as much as it wanted to get at that point. I think this was like back in 2019, 2020. I looked at it. But you know what's funny? Actually, a few years ago, I was actually creating a mobile app, a fitness app that kind of does something similar. And you know, I don't care if people hear this, but basically, it was like you could take a picture of your outfit before going out, and then it would go on your feed, and then your friends could like it up or down, like to say, you know, they like that fit. Like I feel like girls would use that all the time because girls send each other their outfits anyways. The difference between that and like Instagram is like Instagrams, you take photos like after events and stuff that you do, you go out. This would be like a fashion fitness app where like you take pictures before you go out to events and get feedback. And because if you have like a group of friends, you take a picture of it and they all like it up or whatever, and then you know you'll be like, okay, I'll wear that tonight. Or if they're all like, yeah, maybe you should change it. Like,
yeah, because sometimes you're wrong about what you think is the right thing to wear.
You go out and your friends are like, what are you wearing? And I was like, what do you mean? It took me like an hour to figure out.
Yeah, bro, you should get back into that app, man. You know,
it's called, I did I made the whole like wireframing and everything. It's called Fashion Fit. I was gonna be like,
put some dollars behind it. I think more
You could call it Fit Check.
Hey, that's good too. And especially with like this rising culture, I think after COVID, a lot more people wanted to make it an important thing to look good and present better when they're finally able to see people, and that mentality is stuck. So I don't know how long ago it was you were doing the app, but it might be time to.
It was a few years ago, and it's crazy because I had a business partner, and I showed it to him, and we were going to work on it together, and then he wanted to pivot and move away from it. So we ended up pivoting
back into it, dog.
And then it didn't work out working with that person. So I was like, wow, well, kind of want to do it again. So.
Bring it back, Zach. I'm telling you, you'll make a killing. All right, you guys. So this is the last one, and then we're going to go ahead. I'll release you guys. So how can I improve my mental health and confidence to reflect positively on my appearance?
I think one thing I would say is going back to not falling off the wagon if you miss one day or something. Like if you're trying to set out to do something, don't like get upset at yourself for just falling off one day. The other thing, I mean, I really believe in therapy a lot. I've been going to a therapist for about 2 years now, and it's been really, really huge for me because the one framework I'll share from her is she introduced me to this concept of like killing ants. It's automatic negative thoughts. So if you notice that you have if you become aware of that, and we all have these automatic negative thoughts of like, what if I fail? What if I can't do this? What if I fall off and I never get back to it again? Or what if I can't do this? Or what if everything goes wrong and falls apart? But if you can learn to be aware of those and recognize when they come and kill the ant, so to speak, that can really help you kind of get back into that right frame of mind. Another thing I heard recently that I really liked from, I think it was from an Alex Hormozy reel or something, is people will be in a bad mood for no reason all the time. So there's no excuse to not just be in a good mood for no reason. You could just decide to be in a good mood for no reason. Like if you can decide to be in a bad mood for no reason, you could also just decide to be in a good mood for no reason.
Yeah, that's a great point there, man.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm more of like the Gary V mindset. Like I don't care what people think, and if I want to try something new, try something new. Because like we talked about earlier, if you want to try a new hairstyle, try a new hairstyle. Maybe it will work, maybe it won't, and maybe we get made fun of. We're not in middle school or high school anymore. Who cares? If it doesn't look good, put a hat on. That's just kind of like I try new outfits and new things all the time, and my friends roast me, but I honestly don't really care because I enjoy it, and I think we have to have as men thicker skin, and if we want to really work on our like being able to have our confidence, we just have to really not care what other people think, and that's I think what confidence is being truly feeling good in who you are and not caring.
And I would also say you accrue confidence along the way. So for someone who's coming from a place of not being confident, just know that it's okay that you don't have confidence yet. You kind of have to go out and earn it. You have to go out and like collect your confidence in pieces along the way. And the way you collect confidence is by proving to yourself again and again that you can at least show up and do what you said you were going to do. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, it makes you more confident. It makes you more confident just knowing that you can set out to do something and actually achieve it. So every time you collect another like token of confidence, it builds on itself.
Man, you guys, these were great pieces here. I gotta say, I think this is gonna provide a lot of value to people and also make for some great clips. So,
thanks for having us again.
Of course, bro.
This was fun.
It was. I really enjoyed the dynamic. I thought you guys would be great for it, and you were definitely everything I would have hoped for with it and more. So thank you guys for making the time. I know I changed details multiple times. I appreciate y'all adapting to it. And for the audience out there, you guys, all of the links for Brody as well as for Zach are in the description. These guys are very active on social media, especially on Instagram. As Brody said, he does his Tuesday streams every week. And Zach is just a madman when it comes to posting consistently, sharing out what he's doing with life, how his entrepreneurial journey is going. So get engaged with them, get involved with them. I want to thank everybody for watching this, for everyone that comes back, watches the replay. I hope that this has just been something that you could laugh from, think about, find some type of motivation for. And for everyone that is following along for the 30-day challenge, be sure to show up day after day. This is something that is really stretching my bounds here. So it's allowing for awesome collaborations like this that I want to put together. It's forcing me to take those steps. So for everyone, for the guests, thank you all. And we will catch you on the next episode of the Inspired Challenge podcast. Any last words?
Thank you for having me again. And whatever stage you're at listening to this, watching this, whatever you're trying to work on, success is around the corner. It might just take longer than you expect, but you got this.
Hey, Zach?
Sorry, I was zoned out for 10 seconds.
I know. I went into the outro and you're like, oh, we're done.
But I just want to say thank you. This is really cool, and I love talking about this stuff. And, I feel like you said, as guys, we don't talk about Looksmaxxing and other this type of stuff more often, but I think we should. And yeah, thank you.
Hey, So everybody, take care. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. And we are complete.
Awesome. We did it.